Okay, so we're here on a very special episode of the Impact Equation, which we're going to do semi-regularly, a little wash-up episode every 7 episodes. We were inspired by a few things to do a reflection on 7. There's that famous TV show, 7 Up, that follows people through their life from the ages 7 all the way through. I think they're up to 63 at last count. 7 is the sort of weekly cycle. We have a day of rest every 7 days. What else? Why else are we doing 7, Adam?
7 Up, fabulous fizzy drink, Rafi.
That's right. And so this is our first 7. And I think what we're going to do is talk through what we've learned so far. What is the impact equation as we see it based on the conversations we've had to date? So Adam, I'm going to offer you my attempt at an equation, and I'm keen to hear your responses.
Oh, fantastic.
And then I think you've got a few thoughts as well on what you think we've learned so far. So
amazing. Go for it, Raf.
So I think our impact equation so far is thus. Outside of a large bracket, the first item is Tony Hawk's enlightened selfishness. Impact relies on underlying needs to deliver, to do stuff. What is that from? What's the rationale? And Tony captured it very neatly for us in that enlightened selfishness phrase. And then within the bracket, I think we have solutions, like things that need to happen to deliver impact. I think we heard about that from Anu and the Earthshot Prize. And it's solutions times a bunch of enablers. So we're thinking about at least 4 enablers that we've talked about so far. We've got finance, which we heard about from Kieran. We've got tech, which we heard about from Tessa, from Olio. We've got leadership, like, how people operate, which we heard about from Jack. And we have policy, which I think we heard about a bit from Sapporo. But then outside of that bracket, if you think about the impact of enlightened selfishness, bracket solutions by enablers, I think there's a sort of to the power of, and I'd say it's to the power of panic, which is what I took away from the conversation with Dr. Hugh Montgomery, our most recent episode. And I think if you have enlightened selfishness times solutions by enablers to the power of panic, that's when you're going to get maximum impact. What do you make of that?
What, Rafi. That is, you must have done advanced algebra at school, because that is something really quite special. So I agree with all that. I think, as you say, I think the part for me is what's the forcing function here? Yeah. And you sort of the power of panic. I characterize it as the power of urgency, which for me has less, I guess, the associations with moral panic and more around, if we take a step back and look at the situation, what pace do we need to be working at? Often people might talk about the second hand, the minute hand and the hour hand. And sometimes in life, one has to decide whether you're operating in seconds, minutes or hours when they think about how you spread your time. And I think on some of the issues we talked about, we're really dealing with seconds, not minutes or hours. Some things that really came through for me thinking sort of thematically. So I guess, how do we marry up that equation that you so wonderfully articulated with the things that I'm taking away? I think the first, as you say, is like the urgency of climate action. I think I'm guilty of being overwhelmed by the extent of the challenge. And what Hugh said around the time for action is not tomorrow, it's today. Again, reflecting very much on my own purchasing habits and family's habits. And his point, every warning has been ignored and now we face the brink. It's quite hard to kind of to ignore it or turn away from that when you're on a call with someone so respected and eminent. You can't really switch your headphones off.
No.
The second thing for me really came through was the impact of potential individual and collective choices and the importance of how those individual choices could add up to something more powerful. On a thing like climate, moving your money, changing your energy supply, adjusting your diet. I think what's come through to me in each session or each podcast is that there are immediate actions that can be taken on each of these issues that we can feel good about, that we can make progress on. And I guess the bit that was missing, from your equation, you mentioned sort of intention, you mentioned kind of the resources of the enablers. But for me, another key part was around, I guess, not the mindset, but I guess how we might think differently. A lot of the people we've spoken to because they approach these problems in a very different way. They are extraordinary in their own ways. They are contrarian in their own ways. And for me, I think the point that's come through is around the need for creativity, the need for a sense of service and a commitment, a sincere, genuine, authentic commitment to making an impact, which sort of stands out for me. And aside from that, I guess the role of communities. Yes, there's individual action. Yes, there's individual action and aggregated across your family. But again, how community could play its part. I think that's something that we've we've lacked, I think, in the podcast, actually being it through.
I think that came through a bit with Tessa, didn't it, with the audio community?
True.
And also a little bit Sephora about how she's trying to build her campaign through, country by country engagement, and trying to build it bottom up as well as top down. I think that's definitely part of that.
100%. Top down and sideways, I think, is the phrase that was used. I always thought top and down, but I didn't give enough consideration to sideways.
Very good. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Adam. That's really thoughtful.
Thanks, Rafi.
How are you finding being a podcast co-host? Are you enjoying it, or what are you taking away from this experience?
Look, I think when we started it, and I think this remains the case for me, it's have some fun, talk to really interesting people, force myself to think, and of course, spend a little bit more time with you, Rafi.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely. Same to you. We've got some really exciting episodes coming up. I've recorded a couple of them.
Tell us more about it, Rafi. What's coming up? What's coming down the track?
We've got a conversation with Mete Koban, the Deputy Mayor for Environment for London, who's this young, incredibly cool and energetic and creative guy that's really going to go far, I think, in the political realm. We have a conversation with Yanis Yanou, who's a professor at London Business School. We have a couple of politicians coming out, other politicians.
Got Joshua McAllister, Labour MP, newly elected Labour MP, founder of Frontline.
That's right. Got a couple of journalists. We've got some great people coming up. So please do stay tuned in. We're really grateful for all the feedback that we've had so far. Please do continue sending us ideas, suggestions, people to speak to, questions. It's been really lovely to hear from some of our audience. So please do get in touch. LinkedIn is normally how people get in touch with us. So please do use that channel. And I think so far really enjoying it. It feels like a really fun and exciting way to sort of engage with some of these topics.
Amazing. Thanks, Raf.
All right. Speak soon.
Speak soon.